Welcome, 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 dear all, to twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. I'm Hovin, your not stammering host, and this is the Stammer stream, even though none of us stammer. And with me today are my two co-hosts, Dr. Nova and Greil9. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Just saw a Black Panther movie, and yeah, it's upper tier now that I think about it. I mean, I'd
Yeah, that
say,
was really solid. I really, really like that one.
yeah. Plus, I'd say this is the first one where I actually remember the villain after the movie.
Michael B. Jordan was pretty terrific as Killmonger. Yeah, it's cool that people he's finally getting like pretty wide recognition. Then again, I guess he was in Creed. He did do Creed as well, which was a pretty big breakout thing for him.
Yeah, and now he got a little better off with superhero movies since last time he was in Fantastic.
The MCU has now redeemed two Human Torches.
Yeah, guessing the next reboot comes around, we're gonna get yet another redeemed Human Torch.
I wish I could say I'd been recently watching something as entertaining, but I just recently finally watched the first movie of Digimon Try, and it's pretty bad. I don't know, like it's just for some reason they thought it was a really good idea to have something super serious and slow paced, which for a nostalgic revival thing, I don't get why you'd go for that angle.
Oh, is it like is it like the general hospital of like Digimon Try, where it's a lot of like them sitting around talking about their emotions while like fights go on in the background?
Yeah, there's a lot of like they devote a lot of time to like, and I hear this is a recurring thing throughout the movies. They devote a lot of time to like the drama between the characters and them moping about certain things, but like the drama isn't very interesting. So, what was the point?
Did, did they finally address the whole like, hey, Sora and Ty were thinking the original, and Sora and Matt, what happened? Fuck
Oh
it, who
yeah.
cares?
Oh no, they double down on that love triangle, and they make it an all the way around love triangle because now they're like yaoi baiting with
I was going to say,
Sora and
wait,
Matt
hold
with
Right,
Ty
they
and
are.
Matt. Yeah, no, like they have a lot of scenes together where they're like talking about each other's feelings, and then in the climax in the final fight, they're like leaning on each other's shoulders, like we can do it because we're friends.
I love the idea that, like, and I know there was, like, I know romance was not the biggest thing in the original Digimon idea, but I love the idea that they're looking at these characters and, like, okay, well, now that they're not 10 years old, we can yaoi bait them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it did stop them from
It's
jury
more
baiting in
amusing
Zero
than
Two.
that element is more quite amusing than it is like bothersome because it's not like it's particularly intrusive. It's just like, yeah, I can see what you guys are going for here.
Yeah. Who else is paired up? Do we have, like, an
Oh yeah,
That's real.
Do we have an
Is-
Izzy and Joe subplot?
Is Izzy and Mimi actually? Oh
Really?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, now I remember
yeah.
that.
Also, they contrive a way for Mimi to be like, oh, she's moved. Not only is she visiting, but she's like moved back into their high school, so they can all be together again. And also
Didn't
all of yeah.
Didn't Izzy and Mimi only have, like, one episode together in the first season, and that was it?
I can't remember. It's been years since I saw either the series or that Try movie.
Okay, but here's the important thing. Does Joe get anyone?
He has a girlfriend. Apparently,
Oh my god.
we don't meet her in the first movie, but he mentions like, "Oh, I have a girlfriend now," and they're all like, "What?" I'm describing this movie as being a lot more fun than it actually is. These are like the highlights.
This sounds incredible to me.
Ah. It's annoying because like I really want to like it, and there are occasional, but like they're just very few and far between.
It's like,
And I don't get why they went for this art style. It's such a bland, generic anime art style. It doesn't look like the original series at all.
okay. Let's keep going down the list though. Who did they pair with TJ this time around? I'm thinking Gabumon.
TK, you mean? Do you mean TK?
What? Who cares? Who cares
sure him
about
and-
the
I'm-
Hat
I'm-
Kid? Who
I'm sure-
cares about it?
I like TK got really cool in 02, actually.
Nobody cares. 02.
I liked it.
They had one good character in 02.
I kind of enjoyed 02, but
Can we move on to
Yeah.
a subject
02.
where I can actually contribute on the account of actually having seen or watched something about it?
See, I told you nobody watched 02.
I did watch it, but it's been like years.
It's been years. I haven't been marathoning like Digimon episodes ever since.
No, I am thankful that when I watched 02, while I usually bash on Finnish dubs, they actually based this one on the Japanese instead of the English, which I am eternally thankful for. For one, the lines were far better. There were no corny jokes. And for two,
Anyway,
we didn't
we
need...
should-
I just have very vivid memories of watching Digimon Frontier and being very confused when they like Power Rangers morph into the Digimon.
yeah, that was a thing introduced in Tamers that they just made the main mechanic of Frontier.
I mean, that was for their like Mega Evolution that like they joined together. I'm like, okay, that can be kind of cool. And then Digimon Tamers, it's like, I don't know. I guess we morph.
Yeah, I think Frontier was the last series I saw any episodes of, because I did a weird thing where I just kind of watch a lot of episodes of the first season of a thing, then like some of the next, and like as each season went along, I just watched less and less. So I think I saw about 5 episodes of Frontier, 26 or so episodes of Tamers, and then all of 1 and 02.
Wasn't there one season where they were like police officers or something?
I think that was 5, like data savers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, we should probably not let the Digimon cast drag on too long, because we need to get to the Danganronpa cast.
Okay,
Exactly.
but just one word before we go into manga. Fuck that Digimon American 2 that played in opening and also transformations. That was shit.
I like it. I
Then
think
you
it's
are
cool. I wish
provably
it
wrong.
had been in Try.
Okay. If you had to pair Digimon with the cast of Danganronpa 2, who would we go with? I personally let's go.
Maybe we should actually move on to manga.
Let's manga. I was
I
joking.
think Gatomon and Kyoko Kirigiri would make a pretty good team up. I don't know.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, so
And
we
anyway,
start-
this mashed
so we
potatoes
begin
is
our
good.
we begin our manga recap, because One Piece is off this week. Boo-hoo! With Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma, and I am going to save my opinion on this chapter until last. This is chapter 252.
Yeah, my opinion's the same of, this is just, we present our dishes, there's a lot of food terminology that I don't even read. Though I do say, this is pretty egregious fan service.
There's something about the way, and look, maybe it's just fatigue, because we get an actual, like, little chart in this chapter about how many matches we've gone through, but there's something about the way that Food Wars is doing this that has become, and I hate to use this word because I guess it's a sexual metaphor, but it is very apt in the situation. It's become almost sterile because and it's nothing to do with the fan service. It's just to do with the fact that when I think back to the ways that like these food tastings would be done a lot of the time, there would be metaphors in the cooking. There would be, panels demonstrating this, like, what Food Wars does in the sense, like, it'll just do these really grand illustrations. But there would be times where it would be multiple ones per chapter. I'm thinking back to the ramen battle, where, it wasn't just like that final, it wasn't just that final panel where the two characters used stands against each other. There were also metaphors with Megami being this like forest sprite thing. I don't know. There is a Japanese name for it. I'm just blanking on it at the moment. Where Kurokiba punching out all the judges and standing above their like knocked out figures, stuff like that. I think that was actually come to think of it. But our point is like there was more to it, and it wasn't just an ending explanation. And it feels like this has become a little formulaic in the sense that like everyone will explain their dish, there'll be one fan service shot, then the other person will explain their dish, and there'll be another fan service shot. And it feels a lot less fluid than it used to be. And also, and this is just because I guess I watch a lot of cooking shows, so I'm biased against this. I'm really confused as to how the actual secret ingredient is meant to work. Because it feels less like you have to highlight the ingredient to win, and more just like, I guess if the ingredient's in there, you're fine.
Anyway, so to move on to my opinion on this chapter, you guys are both completely right. I see exactly where you're coming from. With that said, this chapter was 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was great.
Because Rindo?
Yeah, and just bikini shots. The lingerie shot. It's literally, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush here. That's like, yeah, I like that.
we need to get Rindo in a bikini into Black Clover, because then we can have one person on this podcast who likes the shit out of it.
And also, this match was refreshingly quick. I'm glad they just got it out the way in one chapter, because despite my concerns last week, which have quickly been shot down, there was no way Aldini was going to win this. So yeah, might as well just bang through it in one chapter and get it out the way. And also the ending, where it seems to him that like our theory about a 2-on-2 final could well be happening. I'm quite happy about that.
Could well be. I think this is already like will definitely.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
so yeah, I think I overall come out quite positive on this chapter for both, I think, understandable reasons and really stupid ones as well. So
I came out positively on it overall. I just sort of I do wish that, and maybe this is just a byproduct of having so many Shokugekis so quickly after one another, but I just sort of, you know, this used to be a really, really fun part of the series.
Yeah, it is just a case of like, I am just like, on chapters where I'm not really feeling it, I am just kind of tapping my foot until like, when is this whole tournament going to wrap up? Just so I can see if it will be the last one and where is this all going. So just going through the rigmarole, maybe this is the Stammer stream after all, but it just feels a bit, it just feels a little tiresome. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with it here.
For me, it's just
for the most part.
I barely read chapters. Only the ending reveal of it's gonna be Soma and Erina teaming up is getting me excited, because, well, that's something I would look forward to. Those two have never really...
If you're like me and you like shameless fan service in the right in a particular context, you'll probably like this chapter.
Yeah, but it
pretty
wasn't
much
ridiculous enough. I mean,
it wasn't very ridiculous.
Way more
true.
Ridiculous in Shokugeki no Soma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just the fact that they, in the middle of a cooking competition, just went, "We are going to show you how we felt about this. And we're going to do it with our bodies." And this is meant to be what they actually did. They actually just stripped down and did a lingerie thing in the middle of a cooking contest.
Wait,
that is pretty ridiculous.
Wait, hold the fuck on. Wait, oh my god, that actually happened.
Yes.
Wait, where did the bed and the pillows come from?
I don't know.
What? That actually happened? What?
Maybe they just had it in reserve.
What?
I actually didn't read, so I've got to ask, what the fuck? As in, seriously, just what the fuck?
And these people are like Michelin star inspector. Did they do this in every restaurant?
If they
every
did...
time they're like, "Oh, this food's really good. 1 sec, I gotta go change into my lingerie."
Yep.
Yeah, though, I gotta say, if they did that, I would go to that restaurant. Like,
I would. I'd be so uncomfortable just since, like, look, wasn't there a thing at some point about how, like, the Michelin star inspectors have to be completely anonymous because they don't want the chefs to, like, cater to them because then it's unfair for judging? I feel like this really ruins it when we're like, oh yeah, we know exactly who the inspectors are. They're the ones that strip halfway through the meal. Oh my
Anyway, is that everything we wanted to say on Food Wars?
Yeah. So, didn't really care. Would go to that restaurant, and I am looking forward to Soma and Erina teaming up.
Anyway, after that opilicious little diversion, shall we move on to My Hero Academia?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
This was my chapter of the week. I know it's not an official thing on this that we have chapters of the weeks, but there are some weeks where there is one chapter that I just clicks with me so much, and this was it. And like, it would have been enough to be like one of my favorites if it was just the slice of lifey stuff at the beginning, because I do like that stuff. But just the scene with Deku and All Might working out his power and like sort of, getting a grip on like where to go with it next just added even more to it for me.
And also, it was one of the funniest chapters in a while, with stuff like the singing of everyone but Jiro, and then the guitar. We had to just ban it because his character design is too short.
And then the great Tokoyami line, I set the X aside after the F chord defeated me.
For me, it was, on this scan, it was, I need to overcome the oppression of the F chord first.
The incredible joke about Tokoyami playing bass is so clever that I'm almost disappointed I didn't call it. It's just something like, that makes way too much sense.
And I do like that they're actually thinking about how to make it flashier with their quirks, like using it for non-combat purposes.
Yeah, no, it's just in general, like when they make all of the teams and stuff like that, I just, it is somewhat like, maybe exciting isn't the right word, but like it's just very amusing. I love like just seeing Ida so completely drained after like all this discussions, and again then later on when we have the All Might sort of teaching Deku about long range attacks. I don't know, just something about like seeing Deku putting on his uniform again, just the way he looks in it. It really does feel like, this is a character that has changed over the course of the series. He doesn't look as skinny anymore. And, he looks a bit more comfortable. And there's little moments in the art like that where it looks, there's an actual journey for the character, which is something that we really have to credit My Hero with. Because I think one of the biggest criticisms we have of a lot of shonen series is characters just like, there's no real scale for how they become stronger. They just kind of do. And like, it was something we had a problem with Fairy Tail with all the time, which is like, could Natsu and Urza always do this? Or is there just like, have they just invented it now? But with Deku, you really do see the progression.
Yeah, and this is why I shit on Asta. He just says, I have gone through a lot of hardships. I just didn't want to show you any of them, and I now know this thing. Whereas Deku, it shows every step of the way, and you can see the logical progression of how he gets here. Like, when you see them break down all those steps, that really shows how much effort he has been putting into this control.
Also, I just bit of a side thing, but this chapter had a lot of characters being generally adorable and endearing to me. Like the Tokoyami joke, I like. Jiro being the tsundere band leader. I love the touch that like Momo's like, because I am a rich girl, I have developed an interest in piano, and it's like, and then she's just got that little panel of her just going, "I'll do my best." It is so adorable. Oh,
yeah, Yaoyorozu is one of the best girls.
She's my fave.
Oh no, Suyu, best girl always. Oh, what? Just because she's a frog girl, she doesn't?
No, actually, the fact that she's got a frog design is the only thing I really like about her.
Oh, come on.
I don't know why, but now looking at the video and seeing his title, it's just even funnier with him just going.
Anyway, any other thoughts on My Hero, or shall we proceed to Black Clover, the other series?
I mean, I have to. Could we just
really
stick to My Hero for double length and skip Black Clover?
I really like the ending, I'll say. Like, just, seeing Eri show up at the you know, I'm hoping that's actually followed up with directly next chapter, because I've been really. I know some people weren't huge on the Chisaki arc, but I actually really love the way that Eri's story is being handled, in the sense that they haven't just acted as though like now that she's saved, she's fine. You know, they are sort of dealing with the fact like, no, this was something very traumatic that happened to somebody who's very young. So I really am enjoying this sort of. I wouldn't necessarily call it a slow burn necessarily, but the slower paced way that her story is, you know, being integrated into the current story as well. So I'm hoping that we get to that next chapter, because that's something that I think has been done remarkably well, especially in Shonen Jump, where it feels like everything has to happen really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
speaking of things... Yeah.
Yeah, you just go on.
Speaking of things happening really fast, Black Clover, how did this... Like, the series had one job. It was, like, to kind of make me care about the character doing their big dramatic sacrifice and how they're passing on to the next generation. And literally, it just did the same thing it always did, and just everything's about Asta. Like, we can't show all of the other cast, like, pitching in and have it be more of a general thing about the next generation. It's just like, no, we have to telegraph that everything in the universe revolves around Asta. So yeah, not great.
Can I ask something? Just like for a magical mechanic of sorts. Why is the Wizard King dying?
He got stabbed.
He got stabbed and he ran out of redo time to stop it.
Did he?
It. Yeah, from preventing all of Leash's attacks on the city, I'm guessing.
But why couldn't he just stop time through the entire? I'm just really
that's not how his power works. It's like he reserves time and then has to use it. He can only stop time for a limited amount.
But can't he take some like from Yami? Didn't he say he was like taking like? I don't know. It just
feels metaphorical or literal.
Okay, I'm just very confused. Like, I feel like this is something we should be. What does it mean? Like he stores time?
The power system's so poorly defined that it's impossible to know.
Oh, okay, because it's just if the Wizard King was killed instantaneously, then I could understand why he couldn't heal himself, because there's no conscious thought left. Like if his head got cut off or something, that would make sense. But like the fact that he's still kind of alive here and like has enough time to give this speech to Yami, it just has me wondering. Like, I mean, you're sure you can't use your magic to heal yourself? It feels a little ill-defined.
You know, that part doesn't, because they did explain pretty clearly last time that the reason he couldn't stop the attack was because he spent all his magic saving the citizen. So they just explained that, yeah, you can't do that unlimitedly, otherwise you just stop the entire universe and come slit my throat. Which is one of the things that I wonder why all people who can stop time don't do. But here, they just played out that, yeah, you couldn't do that at the time, so you are out of magic, right? So you can't also rewind it now that you're out of magic.
Okay, follow-up question. This is the end of the copy guy fight?
Yeah,
this is it?
So one thing I do like is that Asta actually has the brains like, I saw you blow yourself up once. I'm not gonna be stupid enough to let you do it again, even if I am an idiot.
Yeah. I think one thing I will say is that so the anime has been running for 20 episodes now. It's had plenty of time to, you know, bring new audiences in. And the sales of the manga have gone from like 4.5 to 5.5 million, which is not much of a bump. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Shueisha's probably a little disappointed in how it's performing, and basically everyone outside of Jump's core readership don't really give a shit about this series. Not that isn't saying that it'll probably get cancelled, because Jump are loyal to like the stuff that ranks well, and it's not like it's selling poorly, but like this was massively not the mega hit they wanted it to be. So yeah, it's almost like if you do like a slow, not very good looking anime adaptation of a series that doesn't have very many new ideas, it won't root that many people in.
There's one last question I have, and maybe it's
Yeah.
just a lack of knowledge of Black Clover. At the end of the chapter, we see Leash going towards. This is the deep. Is it like is this the thing that like had something to do with that like demon that was locked away?
I'm not sure. I mean, we saw that stone after the first arc where they went up against that ice guy in some village they had captured, but
Yeah,
we really don't know much about it.
because I think they said it had some connection to the demons, and if it does, this. I get that there are 3 other countries that we haven't gone to yet, but this feels a little like Endgame to me, and there's no way Black Clover's ending. That makes that very clear. It's just a little odd that they seem to be breaking this out like now.
Well, we don't know that it is the demon thing.
I feel like they mentioned it as some connection to the demon when it first showed up, but I can't remember exactly. And again, maybe it won't like be activated next chapter. Maybe it's more just like, shit, we forgot the magic stone to the top left. Okay, let's go to Heart Kingdom and get that.
Yeah, though I do think it would be really cool if they did activate the demon tablet. Now it would be a demon. Then we could move on to the end game, and this series would be over pretty soon. We wouldn't have to read it anymore.
Oh.
So
In any case.
I'm all for that idea.
Right. So shall we move on to Promised Neverland?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I thought this was, for the most part, a pretty solid setup chapter of this plan that they're executing. I don't have too much more to say than that, apart from the demons all look pretty cool and intimidating in it.
Yeah, and we also get an explanation as to why they came earlier. They didn't just somehow magically find out the plan or think, oh, we knew you would do it sooner or later. They know there's a really good food there. They want it ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just throwing a slight spanner in the work into the plans of the orphans, of the kids.
Yeah, and I like that they realize, like, Louis is a big threat, so let's just focus on ganging up on these weak ones so we can all gang up on Louis.
Mm-hmm. Nova, any other thoughts on the chapter?
There's not really much to say.
Yeah, there isn't, is there?
Yeah,
No, I mean, like, it's solid action and it's solid build-up. Case where, with Promised Neverland, you're kind of always waiting for, like, the other shoe to drop, and that's big time the case here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hear from people who, like, catch up with with Promised Neverland once every, like, couple of months or so. It sounds like they have a really good time with that, because it is just a series that, like, paces itself out quite slowly between the big reveal chapters. So I can imagine it being a nice one to do in chunks.
Yeah, this was just a transitionary chapter with not much to talk about.
I can say, like, it's more just the fact that you know what you're reading is not, like, everything that's happening, which will be good when we, like, see it all in context. Just reading right now, there's not much to say in the sense that, like, things look like they're going okay now. Not gonna stay that way. People gonna die.
Yeah. Anyway, in any case, since we don't seem to have much more to say, shall we move on to We Never Learn?
Sure.
Yeah, I suppose we can do that too.
So, a pretty, not a particularly exceptional chapter, but I think what made this for me was the reaction faces on Furuhashi are really good in this chapter. They're very funny.
Yeah, looking back at it, like, even the first one, that's just the anticipation phase. From the even, I don't know how he does it, but we only see one side, and yet this one already has me in tears.
Where was this chapter like 6 weeks ago? Like, couldn't we have just placed this one like in between the bathing suit chapters or something?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, this should be the meat of the series, like comedy, or just like a nice even mix of comedy stuff, some kind of heartfelt romantic stuff, and then the occasional little cheesecake thing. Like, I feel like a balance. If it found like a nice balance between those, I wouldn't have any issue with like I've said this before, but I wouldn't have as much issue with the massively fan servicey shameless chapters.
I would have as much issue with it if it felt like sometimes the characters weren't reduced to that, because like I think all of us at one point have complained about the fact that sometimes like Ogata is an interesting character, but when all the jokes around her are reduced to like her chest, you know, it makes it feel like that's the primary aspect of her character, which it isn't.
Like you can get like, and I get so much more. I get so many laughs out of other aspects of her character, like the fact that she's kind of robotic and doesn't always process stuff like regular people do, and like
because that's an actual character. Like physical appearance, like it can be an aspect of it, but if it's the primary part of the character, you know, that's shallow character writing. And here, there aren't really jokes like that. It's more character-based jokes.
It's not like flat-chested jokes about Furuhashi all the time.
And also situation-based. And I do like how they kind of go about figuring out where the guy is. Like, they make logical deductions, like, it's from this bakery, we can see that there's always this notch on the table, and they're always posted at this time.
It's I also have to ask this: do guys in harem series have any good male friends? Because I feel like I feel like it's Shu from Nisekoi, and that's it. Like every other guy in the harem series just has jealous dickheads for friends.
And even then, Shu's often stirring shit just because he can.
Oh, Shu's still a prick sometimes. I just love the. It's hard to say love because this is definitely skirting the line between like being funny and being like almost like being a little irritating, but the fact that the guy's like, I saw you on a possible date, therefore I cried, took a picture of you, uploaded it to Instagram with a caption, we should note, with a caption, and then immediately erased it from my mind.
Just like the death stare Furuhashi gives him is like, delete the photo, please, now.
But like, I want to like, just 1 sec, I want to find something. I want to find the exact like panel I can find, because there's just something so amusing about the fact that he like added captions and stuff, despite the fact he was apparently sobbing while writing this.
Let me have a look. See, it says, I knew there was something going on between those two, and then like a heart emoji.
Hard, and even though he was like hard.
I'm so devastated.
Even though he was like crying.
I think that's just like what he does on his Instagram, like because he's like wee with like a little heart emoji when he's taking the photo of the cake. Like just no matter what the implied mood of the post, he always has to put one there.
It's even funnier. He liked his own post. You can see that he's the only person who liked it. It's almost over the line of being like, this is the dumbest shit ever, but it's somewhat like ridiculous and at least
Yeah, I'd say it sticks to the shonen level of ridiculous, where you still find it funny for how stupid it is, and not just
I think the only thing that would have put this over the edge to me if he had added like a filter or something, just like specifically choosing the best filter for this picture as he's sobbing 5 feet away,
or like make it hashtag where's justice, like hashtag girls for us too.
Hashtag nice guys finish last. Hashtag fedora tip.
Yeah. So we all done with thoughts on We Never Learn then?
Yeah. This is one of those chapters that I actually thought Yeah, that's okay actually.
Yeah, I think I'm going to direct this to Boruto because we seem to have a nice tradition of doing the sciencey series last because we usually tend to like it. Um, Although this week, which is chapter 21, I believe, of Boruto, yes, it is. I actually quite like this chapter. Like, I didn't mind this one as much as previous ones. It had, I generally speaking do like it when it's we have these tools and abilities at our disposal. How can we tactically, as a group, take out this really strong guy?
Yeah.
So I kind of enjoyed it on that level.
You know what this really reminds me of? It's that
The Phantom
chapter in
Menace.
early Naruto where they managed to get Zabuza off the water prison with the whole triple deception thing.
Hmm.
There's one thing I like a lot of the parts of this chapter. I like the idea of draining the enemy's chakra with the sword. I think there are clever moments here. There's just one thing though that's so like it's hard to describe it, but like just so like Ao seems like a really intelligent character. Like he seems like he'd be really clever, but to have him fall for the like shadow clone trick is genuinely hilarious to me when it's like, all right, let's think about this for a moment. I'm fighting the son of the most famous shadow clone user in ninja history. I wonder if he and doesn't even think like maybe he uses that technique too. Like it's just so like
Yeah, but then again,
maybe
even if he knew
yeah.
he'd used Shadow Clone, what would he have done different here? He still couldn't have known that the weapon it was using was somehow harmful to him.
He wouldn't have been so cocky as to be like, yeah, I definitely stabbed this kid. Like, yeah, I did it. Like, he would have at least been like, oh, maybe this is the chance. I just love that, like, panel where he's just like, I'm the best ninja ever. Oh, shit, wait, what?
So, I guess it was also kind of credible that you wouldn't give Shadow Clone such a precious weapon.
A little bit. It's just like, when I think back to Naruto and how often this same trick was used, and like it's not a bad trick. Like it still makes sense just in context of the larger Naruto series. It's still funny to me that shadow clones are still surprising people. Sort of in the sense that like in the final battle, the fact that like in the final battle with Madara, people were still like being shocked by the substitution technique. But like, holy shit, he was a plank of wood the whole time.
Mm. Also, I think this is a personal preference thing. I'd have quite liked it if maybe the Rasengan at the end had cracked the gauntlet. So it's like, okay, we managed to achieve this. Now Al can really go all out and just like pull out some other technique or something.
It feels like the Rasengan has been kind of like nerfed a little bit. You know?
Yeah, all it really did was push him back. Unless the next chapter is just like the gauntlet cracks and he's like, he managed it, but I don't think it'll do that. I think it'll just open on Al's counter.
Which is crazy because if you think of like how the Rasengan was introduced, it like ripped stuff apart. And here it introduces like a really when Ow's like ow. Sorry, just like that thing went in my head. I was like, ah.
Well, I guess you could claim that Boruto's Rasengan just isn't as powerful as Naruto's. We saw that, like, Naruto could make it like the ball thing, but without proper training, it was scattered and didn't have the focused power that rips things to shreds.
I guess it just feels like you should have a bigger reaction than like, ow, that kind of hurt.
Yeah, I think the Rasengan in general has been demoted a lot. Not just general hit things with this really hard, rather than
it's one level above throwing shuriken.
I mean, I'm trying to think like the last time that regular Rasengan was really effective. I guess it was the finishing move of like the pain fight. Like he did finish him off with one. Then there's the whole final Naruto Sasuke clash, but that was a matter of they were on the last leg of chakra they had, so they kind of all they could really manage was just like a regular Rasengan Chidori. So, yeah, generally speaking, it has been quite sidelined and demoted. But yeah, that covers everything I really wanted to talk about with this chapter. It's alright. Guys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, my headphones weren't set up. I hope I wasn't talking over people. My headphones briefly disconnected.
It's all good.
So, should we move on, or do you still want to hang on this part?
Now let's go to Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone, Dr. Stone, aka...
One, fuck you. Two, Dr. Stone, 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 Dr. Stone.
This chapter, aka...
Time to get high! Wait, shit!
God damn it, Senku, you turned them into weebs.
Is it still
Yeah.
weeb thing if it's, like, from Stone Age people using it?
Yes, they think katanas are the best swords when they're apparently not actually that well put together.
Alright,
and not
yeah,
historically
totally
the...
I mean, it could have been worse. He could have, like, given them keyblades or something.
Oh god, can you imagine?
Just hit them with a huge lump of iron, shaped like a key.
Like, well, we lied about being able to create rifles. We did create gunblades, though.
Oh god, what a fucking nerd! Wait, are we talking Final Fantasy 13
This
or
would
8
become my favorite
Gunblade?
series in history. if just Senku, because Senku's main, like, you know, he really likes Doraemon. So, you know, there's just something about the idea of him just being like, I'll just, like, create all this, like, hilarious anime weaponry.
So, were we talking like Final Fantasy 8 or 13 Gunblades?
I mean, I'd like to see them try to create Final Fantasy 13 gunblades.
Yeah, that would
Seems
be...
impossible, though.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't completed the guns, so...
Mm-hmm.
And anyone else think Kinrou looks really weird with the glasses on?
I quite like the way it looks, generally speaking.
I think it's gonna take me a while to get used to it.
I don't know, I quite like the Megane look for him. But...
I do find it kind of funny how everyone's like, holy shit! The moment he puts them on.
Well, I
That
mean,
is-
if they figure like this disease that is among us that we just had to deal with, now someone can just so easily cure it.
Oh no, that's not their reaction. Oh, their reaction is more like, damn, you look kind of thing.
Well, there's the right side doing that reaction and left side doing the logical part. Like, was that how the brain lobes also worked? Which side was the one that was emotion?
Mm-hmm. I'm so happy Suika got her helmet back.
Yeah,
really
I
happy
was
about
wondering
that.
if they would get her glasses, but it just doesn't feel like Suika without the helmet. Suika best
I do like the idea they found another pumpkin, because the old one was cracked. So I feel like the fact that
watermelon or something.
it's something like, if it's a watermelon, then like that feels like it's a lot harder than it is.
I
Or
can't
whatever it
remember
is, I
what
just-
exactly it was.
I just like the fact that they hollowed out another one of those for her.
And now they got a whole ass to make swords. And also, Kairoseki is now from Food Wars.
Stone Wars?
Stone Wars.
That is the name of this grand chapter of the series, Stone Wars.
Yeah, the
It-
arc
it-
is called Stone Wars, so... Also, see,
Stone.
while it wasn't that...
Stone Wars. Sorry, it sounds like a Transformers season.
While it wasn't that prominent, it seems Senku also spent the time making some bombs. At least that's what I presume those things he draws out are.
Yeah, I mean, they could be like, smoke. They could have a certain property to them. Like, I think a straightforward bomb would be a bit uncharacteristic of how he does things. Like, probably a flash or a smoke bomb or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
it could be something like special bomb. No telling right now.
Yeah. Anyway, that pretty much oh yeah, I do also just love the gag of, this is the impression the Tsukasa army have, and they're just all in, like, they're all in Yukata's kimono things.
Yeah, and they do look
So
pretty
Tsukasa's-
cool in those.
So Tsukasa's army is a bunch of like weebs too.
Yeah.
Though I have to question, like, I understand that these probably are better than any weapons that the Tsukasa Empire could make without any kind of like technology, but could iron or steel swords really cut stone that easily? Since they seem to
Not
shatter.
katanas. Katanas are like notoriously flimsy. I know this because I have my friend who is a history major, a military history major. He was like, he's mentioned how like they generally use spears, primarily, and like the swords are just kind of there to like disarm.
Yeah, the point of and like I only know this because like I've done stage combat, so I know how to like use certain swords mostly for like stage and film and stuff. Sorry, and stuff like that. The point of a katana is not like to hack and slash again. Like a katana hacks and slashes a person. It doesn't hack and slash like another sword as much. And if it's going up against another katana, it'll probably be fine. But it's really not a weapon for that. A katana is a weapon to like kill very quickly.
Yeah, this is very much manga/anime/video games logic katana, not
like,
realistic.
I would totally get it if they just hacked at the wooden parts they have, because pretty sure they could still go through those pretty easy, since that's not treated wood or anything.
Oh yeah, it can carve through wood really easily, but stone, like, no, it's gonna have some trouble with that.
Yeah. In any case, I think that wraps us up. Does anyone want to comment on Robot X Laserbeam, or has even read it?
That thing's still going.
Yeah.
No, I think we did pass on one thing. Hyoga. We didn't really talk about what we think about him.
Oh, the villain.
Yeah. Like how he's already thinking like few steps ahead. And even while Gen's trying to get them to just go in later, Hyoga's already thinking like they should go back. Going kind of against what Gen suggests. And showing that he's kind of a opportunistic bastard, like, they could win. And even if they
nice.
don't, they're sacrificial lambs.
It is just nice to see peons that have their own agendas and kind of priorities and how they think they should do things. It makes things more interesting within the bad guys.
Yeah, I like Hyoga fine. He's a little angered at the moment, I'd say, is my only criticism, but he's still fine. Like, he does look cool, and I do like this kind of character in here. I'm wondering what his backstory is going to be.
Yeah, like why he's also... That's also one thing, like, why are all the people seemingly that Tsukasa wakes up so ready to just kill people and be part of this sort of primal society? Like, if I woke up, I would say, like, dude, I just like to, try and survive first. Like, why do we gotta start killing people right away? Are you crazy?
Well, because Gen had his, like, pivotal moment where he's like, I really, really want cola. Maybe he's found everyone's, like, pivot item. Like, what do you think Hyoga really... I'm guessing he just really, really wants Kingdom Hearts 3 to finally come out, given his design. And, like, he's like, alright, so here's the plan. We capture Senku, we take over the world, and we'll force him to make us Kingdom Hearts 3. Deal? Deal.
And then just finally, it's like, Kingdom Hearts 3... Kingdom Hearts is a fucking stupid series. You got Donald Duck fighting in Cloud Strife in ancient Rome. That's dumb.
Or he just puts together all the, like, really shitty Disney movies instead. He's like, you really wanted a Brother Bear world, right? Like, no! No, I didn't.
The Black Cauldron, Home on the Range.
Where's Frozen?
All the classics.
Like, okay, well, I couldn't find Frozen. I'm sorry. What do you mean you couldn't find Frozen? I couldn't get the rights to it. Disney is dead. Like, well,
yeah,
listen,
but that doesn't mean that they actually, since it has been so many thousand years, it's actually public domain now. Yeah, so that's no longer a problem.
Exactly. Like, look. There's not going to be a Frozen world. There's not going to be a Wreck-It Ralph world. I'm sorry about all of that. That said, I got you a pretty awesome Treasure Planet world, but not space. Like, just the planet where it starts on. That's okay, right?
Oh god, I mean, You could have had me like, I actually like Treasure Planet, but you won't even add space. Screw you, saying we're just gonna kill you. But before that, could you just make us Persona 6?
Okay, is it okay if Persona 6 has a brother bear world? No!
I think we've got a title for this podcast. Is it okay if Persona 6 has a brother bear world? Excellent.
I cannot imagine what kind of game it would be. So.
I love the idea.
Actually, that would be really cool if that just inspired Sega to make it like it can take you into people's minds of fiction, on what their opinion is on fiction, how they even shape the world in the fiction. Like all that shit just goes into them thinking it's all monsters. The characters are ruining things.
I love the idea that Senku's a giant Disney hipster, and he's like, "Nah, man, Coco, Frozen, that's not the real stuff. Best stuff Disney's ever made." Brother Bear, Home on the Range, and Mulan 2.
You know, that's not being a hipster. That's just having shit tastes.
Anyway, I'm glad to bring you the Disney cast as well as the Danganronpa and the Digimon cast all in one go. You get it all in one go when I'm hosting. I should have probably said at the beginning why Wensleydale isn't on here, but he couldn't make it. That's why I've been hosting for the past hour or so. Yay, organization. But in any case, I think it's probably time to wind things down a little. So I have been Dr. Hovin. You can follow me at HovinwithanH on Twitter for Cabal, Hijinks, Anime Waifus, and Trial by Guilty Crown, which I am actually got a new episode coming up for very soon. So look out for that. And with me today has been Greil9, who you can follow at Nuclear Android on Twitter. Anything you want to shout out?
Not really. I'm not that much on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, and we also have Dr. Nova, who you can follow at JonahLevSnow. Anything you want to plug in particular?
Find me on Instagram. I post so much photos of food. It's great.
You actually do?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm in cooking school, so I just post all my recipe testing.
Nice. Are you thinking about going into something
Can
like
you share me your
cooking
Instagram
relating for a
because
job?
I suck at cooking and could use some practice.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm probably going to try to make a go of it in the restaurant industry.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Maybe if I ever moved to Canada, I could work in one of your kitchens. Because I've done some kitchen work.
Just don't accept me if I come there. I'm probably gonna just destroy everything. I am not a good cook, and I still do all my own meals.
Well, if you insist.
All right. Anyway, thanks for signing off. Why am I saying that? Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. We're signing off. Rindo is best girl, and
Sunika is best girl
in that particular series. Yeah. Bye.